Now, Team Trinidad and Tobago grabbed 6 medals as the recently concluded Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, of course, flying the flag of TNT high. And so joining me to talk more about this and, of course, the future of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee is the first female president of the committee, Miss Diane Henderson. Miss Henderson, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning. Good morning. My
First of all,
pleasure.
First of all, let me say congratulations to you and your team. I mean, 6 medals, 3 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze. I just want to know, what is the feeling and the mood of the camp right now?
Well, I could just say that everybody, the excitement we had at the moment, as well as that warm feeling of bringing it home. I can't explain it, but we are all exhilarated and just pleased, happy about the whole outcome from the athletes.
Now, I can't even imagine the sort of preparation that would have gone into us securing those medals. Can you talk some more about that?
Well, if you notice, through the athletes that actually achieved the medal tally, uh, in particular Nicholas Paul and Jereme Richards, you can see that Nicholas Paul has been driven for some years now in achieving medal tallies. He has been striving. We saw what happened with the Tokyo and his recent Nations Cup competition. So it's not, you can actually watch the pathway being realized, as well as Jareem. I mean, from 2018, we all knew that he was going to come back to try and achieve, a repeat. And that even more so following Dion Lendo's January passing, demise, God rest his soul. Um, Particularly, because of that, there was an additional drive and purpose to achieve gold in both the 200 and the 4 by 4.
Yeah. Now, we were looking at his interview, and he said, his coach told him to drop the hammer, and he dropped the hammer. And of course, that also meant that he actually performed a personal best, and he would have broken all these records. I mean, what does that say for our preparation going into these games?
Our preparation going into which games?
Into
There are
the
many.
Commonwealth game, into the Commonwealth game. Because, of course, he would have broken the record and he did his personal best. So, of course, how is that with
Right.
him now doing all and gaining all those achievements?
That's all part of the preparation mindset. Athletes need to be in the right place in order to achieve that, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, everything. And it's so important to support them as necessary in these areas. I believe that, psychological support is one of the things I have realized that is needed even more so now, and not only because of COVID or the pandemic. It was needed before, and it was not. It needs more address.
Of course.
Definitely, it needs more focus.
Of course.
And I think that they were just in the right place for these games in order to realize that goal.
Yeah. Now, while of course we would have seen some success with the track and field and the cycling, there were some other athletes who didn't medal in their events. What sort of advice would you give them now as they come out of these games and they look forward to the other ones coming up?
I mean, look at an example of swimmer Dylan Carter. Dylan Carter has been also working extremely hard. A 100th of a second is immensely tiny. And, you can't say that he didn't do the same and his mind wasn't in the right place, but that is what the result was on the day. So all of them have to just continue striving, having the faith, having the confidence that it could happen and keep on going for it. If Nicholas's road wasn't easy, he has had several setbacks, but he kept going. His objective is further than. So I would suggest to them to keep at it. Keep striving, keep at it, and you'll get there. It will come to fruition.
Of course. Now, while we had success at the Commonwealth Games, we weren't too successful at the World Championships. I mean, and we have seen time and time again, we seem to fall behind, let's say, our Jamaican companions. I mean, what can we put in place to maybe ensure that we raise our standards and can produce some sort of athletes in comparison to them?
You know, every country is in a different place. And if you notice, some of the names in the World Championships that went coincidentally to the Commonwealth Games, um, they're different athletes, they're younger athletes. And, um, we have to take everything into consideration in looking at the performances, right? So all I can say is that is part of the road for those athletes. Nothing happens before it's time. And I think that they will take those performances and use it as in their analysis in the road forward, so that now they will see what they have to do. And hopefully they're even more inspired by what the others did in the Commonwealth Games and to keep them going forward.
Right. But as we look towards our local sector, is there something that we can do to boost our athletes to perform, let's say, in comparison to, let's say, our Jamaican companions or even to others across the region? Anything at all we can do, whether it's programs or more facilities that we can do to help our athletes shine?
Definitely, definitely. I'm so happy that you asked that question because, um, at the TTOC, TTCGA, we have been working with the MJP program for some time now on using more advanced methods in terms of, science and sports science and so on, high performance, so that, and also training coaches so that they could improve the kind of coaching level for our athletes here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it is necessary for each NSO, each sporting organization, to revisit what their programs look like, do some analysis, and really and truly advance their coaching abilities so that if we have to weed out, we have to weed out. But the point about it is that we've got to advance our coaching abilities and also have collaborations in Trinidad and Tobago where the opportunities given to athletes abroad, all the athletes that have medal, or most of them, um, working away.
Yeah.
So, practicing away. And we have to be able to offer the athletes in Trinidad and Tobago similar opportunities, educational and performance wise, sporting wise, so that they can achieve it right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So our whole system needs to be advanced. And I think this is where we need to start putting our focus in
Yeah.
order to see some changes.
I actually like that you mentioned, the system needs to be more advanced, because I'm wondering, what do you think is the involvement of the Ministry of Education, for example, let's say in weeding out or looking at these talented athletes even from a young age and trying to find ways and programs to ensure that they can succeed when they enter one of these sporting arenas?
Two things there. So the weeding out was not the athletes. The weeding out was more identified as the coaches that can't take on the advanced that need to move forward. But but in terms of the education, the Ministry of Education, we definitely need to work closer together in order to start the systems in place, even from a younger age group, from way down below, so that this starts to go through the whole long-term development and the athlete progression, as well as those that are ready for, university level and college, and, what opportunities we can give them in terms of joining those partnering on those two levels, education and sporting
And
ability.
sporting. Yeah. And you would have mentioned that some of the younger athletes would have been pushed towards the Commonwealth Games. Are there any young athletes that we can keep our eyes on now? Any young and promising athletes that we can see maybe in a few years they can be the ones to kind of take over the baton and continue?
I'm not good at calling names, terrible, so I won't go there. However, definitely, I know that in athletics there are several young athletes. I see it in swimming as well. I see it in triathlon. I see it in a few that there are young athletes coming up, and the baton is being passed right now in the present. So what we need to do is to support those athletes and ensure that we don't make any mistakes that we've made way down in the past. We have to make sure that they get the support and the right elements to ensure that they achieve those goals that we would like to them to achieve. You know, yeah. So that's basically.
And just to pick your brain a little bit, Miss Henderson, what are some of those goals that you see for those young athletes who are coming up?
Oh, of course. I mean, obviously, we wish the best for them from the Olympics down. So obviously we hope that some of them would be able to mindfully that in order to qualify for the Olympics, these athletes have to be supported in their qualification process and ranking. In order to get ranking and qualification, they have to attend events. And that's no small feat on our part, meaning the country's part, not only the TTOC, TTCGA. So, and all the IF international federations of the different sporting organizations.
Yeah. Now, I know sometimes one of the one type of support you may be referring to as well might be the financial support. I know sometimes our athletes have to be requesting funds and it takes some time, and sometimes they are not able to go to these events because they don't have the finances. But I also know that the Ministry of Sport would have mentioned, Shamfa Kujo would have said that sometimes athletes take a little bit too late to request those funds. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, I agree. I agree with the minister fully. We all have to do our part, and the TTOC as well has a process of reporting that we must do, and therefore documentation and timeliness in requests is extremely important. And they have to become a little bit more efficient. And we have been trying also to assist where, raising that level of compliance and understanding on the athlete's part as well. So, it's a whole collaborative responsibility, as well as I'll put some pressure on the NSOs themselves. We have to be mindful that they are in support of the athletes, and therefore all sporting organizations need to really see themselves as the conduit to allowing athletes to attend international federations so that they can compete and achieve these and at least have an opportunity to achieve the goals. Because
Yeah.
without that support from the NSOs, and there are always deadlines, and you can't miss deadlines. And there's so many different facets of our collaborative effort to support athletes in achieving the goals they need to achieve.
Of course. And finally, Ms. Henderson, I know that an estimated $1 million totally would have been given or will be given to the medal athletes when they come home, just as a thank you, of course, from the country, for doing so well. Do you think this is enough, and what else you think should be given to them since they represented us so well this year?
Can speak from the TTOC's point of view, TTCGA, and we have a medal bonus program, and we will be issuing our bonuses to the athletes who have achieved medals very soon. And and I think that I wouldn't be put myself in a position of saying what they think they should get. I think whatever is warranted will come to them. And I really thank the ministry as for holding up their part that they have said. And I'm congratulating the athletes once again. And I would also wish at this time and it would be remiss of me if I did not thank our chef de mission, Lovey Santana, and her assistant management, Risa Grant, for doing a phenomenal job in that work for the Commonwealth Games. They were in 5 different villages, all the sports, 12 disciplines, and it was no easy feat. And I wish to thank them and their administrative supportive team in achieving that Commonwealth Games recently passed.
Of course. And let me just finally say congratulations to Team TTO. Of course, we are so proud of the athletes, and thank you so much for all that you and your team are doing. And of course, Ms. Henderson, thank you for joining us on the Now Morning Show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And that was the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, Ms. Diane Henderson, just giving us a feel of, what the athletes are feeling right now and how the local sporting sector looks as we look forward to more games that's happening. And so we have our team who just won gold, I believe. Is this our 4x400 meters I'm seeing on the screen? I hope it is. And there we have Jareem the Dream Richards in Birmingham. Of course, he looked like he's winded, and there he's doing that tribute to Dion Lando, and he just got his goal there. So I believe this would have been the 200 meters that I'm seeing here. Yeah? All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Congrats again, guys.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. Because they know about Trinidad's look. And they like how Trinidad's cook. And they like